Tourists come here every season. This uncontrolled growth is paradise for local commerce, but Vic is worried about the future of sharks and, by extension, their habitat. The guiltiest of all are the deep sea diving centers, who offer visitors the sea outing of their lives. Every year they receive thousands of divers. Their turnover is almost $8 million a year. Under these conditions, it's hard to fight them. In his shark conservation struggle, Vic has found an ally. His name is Britt, and he heads one of the largest diving centers. Britt has realized that by threatening the sharks or by forcing them to reproduce elsewhere, he is also threatening the future of his business. Fewer sharks on the site, and he can kiss his thriving business goodbye.
Hey Britt, how you doing?
Hey, good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you, yeah.
Good. You here to do some diving?
Well, I hope so. If your divers have left me some sharks to do research on.
Oh, I'm a little bit worried about the amount of divers we've got to the sharks at the moment, eh? I think we should do something about it.
Okay, well, maybe we should call a meeting with the other dive shops and discuss it.
That's a good idea. I think we should do it after the dive.
Yeah?
Okay.
Before the meeting, Vic studies the consequences of the presence of tourists on the behavior of sharks. He's trying to define a tolerance level for the animals to determine how close they will let tourists get to them without turning away.
One of the things that my research has found is that when divers are behaving in an awkward fashion down there with the sharks tend to move further away. And with my research, I used 3 meters as a sort of arbitrary indicator of whether sharks were comfortable with the divers or not. And what I found was that later on in the day, as the day progressed, so the sharks moved further and further away from the divers.
Okay, thank you very much for coming here today, guys. As you know, here on the Edible Shoal, we have a really great shark dive, and we're here to discuss ways of how our divers and our sharks can interact together for the betterment of this area. Does anyone have any good ideas of how we can achieve this?
The one way we can accomplish this task is to put a quota onto how many divers we can take out to the shoal.
Quota system. Business is already bad. Now you want to take more business away from the shoal. What do you want us to do? Close up?
Yeah,
there must be another idea.
I think one better idea maybe just simply educate the divers and teach them how to respect the sharks.
What do you think, Vic?
Yeah, Brett, I think it's probably what Graham was saying is probably the best idea. I think if we can get educated divers, environmentally friendly divers, we'll have happy divers, happy sharks, and happy business. And what more do you want?
That's not too bad. So does everyone agree to this?
Definitely. Definitely.
Thanks for our answer.
Yeah, I think so. No, it sounds good.
Vic has won a great victory, but it's only one small step in his crusade. His first class will be about the teeth of the super predator of the sea.
Okay, guys, thanks very much for coming through this afternoon. The first thing I want to explain to you is how all sharks have got this movement of teeth going forward, and these front teeth are the ones that are actually functional. Okay, so you can see how those teeth are moving forward from the back of the jaw through to the front of the jaw. Sharks are very, very evolutionarily advanced. This here is a fossil tooth, and this is a tooth from a raggy from the Edible Shoal here. This is about 14 million years old, the fossil tooth, and that is probably shows you that the changes have hardly occurred. So basically 14 million years ago, a shark like the ragged-toothed shark had already evolved to almost the same size and shape that it is today.
A big shark's mouth can contain up to 3,000 teeth, and it's estimated that he can use up to 20,000 teeth in his lifetime.
Folks, remember that we're very fortunate here at the Edible Shoal and that we can see sharks going around in their natural behavior. Here we have a diver sitting very calmly, and you can see how close the shark will get. If you're sitting calmly like this diver is, the shark will come within at least 1 meter of you. If you're moving around, or if you go into Reggie Cave or into Cathedral, you will chase the sharks out, and it results in an unpleasant diving experience for both you and the shark. And of course, we do not want to corrupt the shark's behavior. Right, here we've got a male. Okay, you can see the claspers underneath the second dorsal and behind the pelvic fin. And when we're underwater, and I want to show you that we're looking at a male, I'll give you this sign. Okay, very easy to understand. Now when we're looking at a female, I'll do this. Okay, very easy. I'm sure all of you understand what that'll mean.
Going out to sea is always an adventure. After passing the area where the breakers are very dangerous to small craft, there are still 45 minutes of navigating before reaching Aliwal Shoal. Vic now realizes the incredible potential represented by all his students with their amateur cameras. Successive waves of tourists will enable him to determine the exact number of raggies and to reconstruct their daily schedule. He simply has to gather all the information supplied by the hundreds of photos taken by the divers.
Okay guys, we're on top of Raggy Cove. Everybody ready? Right, DV's in please. All together on the word go. Don't hesitate please. Ready and ready and. Ready, 1, 2, 3, go!
The teachings of their professor have aroused the students' curiosity, which is precisely what Vic wanted to happen. To dive with people who want to know more and who approach the sharks with respect. This is a female shark. They are often much larger than the male. Her skin is also harder and more resistant, probably to protect her from the love bites inflicted on her during mating. Mating takes place about 1 month before ovulation. In some species of shark, like the blue shark, living sperm can be conserved in the female body for at least a year. Vic has invented signs for distinguishing different individuals. This male with a hook stuck in his jaw must obviously be Hook. During his classes, Vic tries to destroy false notions about the shark, such as the fact that he is nothing more than a stupid, bloodthirsty automaton. The truth is much more interesting. These animals represent the elite of marine predators.
Top of the food chain. Sharks are incredibly well adapted to detect their prey. They have a battery of sensors with which they can do so. In that is included eyesight, a sense that is very often overlooked. Okay, they've got good hearing with which they can detect struggling fish. Of course, they have the ampulla of Lorenzini all around the front of the head. These are tiny little organs, but very, very sensitive, so that they can detect the heartbeat of a fish, for example. And of course, last but not least, they've got taste at the base of the teeth over here and on their tongues. So they have this incredible array of senses with which they can fit into the niche and detect that prey, whatever they're feeding on, whether it's small fish, skates and rays, or of course, larger things like seals, etc.
These incredibly complex predators, however, pay a price for their excellent environmental adjustment. They terrorize humans, and to stop them from getting close to beaches, man has laid almost 300 miles of netting. These nets are stationary, and thus cannot be detected by sharks who are sensitive to movement. Here, people fear the great white shark, the bulldog shark, and the tiger shark, all of which have been involved in fatal or near-fatal attacks on human beings. Each accident always creates a new wave of panic, and bathers quickly desert the beaches. At dawn every morning, teams from the Natal Sharks Board come to check the protective nets. and each